So the reason why we're going to be having this like on, and I don't know if we're going to have it on Monday. I think that Monday, 8 o'clock is a good time. I know that there's other calls around this time right now. But I want you guys to really get Bitcoin or crypto. The only thing that this really works with is going to be Ethereum and Bitcoin. And as you guys can see, most of the shit that I post, it's about Bitcoin because that's usually all I trade. I do trade Ethereum, but it's kind of like when I catch the Bitcoin trade, I'm too excited and I forget to even look at Ethereum sometimes. So I usually only trade Bitcoin, but I still copy and paste. Guys, if you guys aren't copy and pasting Nick's trades for XRP, you're missing out because he is crazy accurate. All right. All of his trades have hit. As a matter of fact, I think TP2 just hit today for another like 500 pips. So if you guys aren't taking advantage of his trades, you guys are definitely missing out. All right. But what I wanted to go over with you guys already know that I'm a fib trader. Okay. Now, there are so many different ways for you guys to trade. You guys already know that, right? Especially if you're coming from Forex. Like I know that some of you, like Chris, I know that you traded D-Lo for a minute. I know that people that trade HFX, that they have a lot of different strategies. Michael, I know that you trade, you have, you do like indices and all of that. So all of you guys have a different way of trading, right? But I keep it really simple with Bitcoin. And it's so funny because I have people that they'll message me and they're like, oh, and they're trying to talk and they're talking like trading talk. And I'm just like, throw a fib, 50%, 618, get us to the 786, trade your stop loss, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, what? I'm like, dude, it's that simple. Like, it's so simple. And I feel like we all overcomplicate it, right? And I don't want you guys to overcomplicate it because I trade just fibs. I do use my Bollinger Bands as an indicator. And I do have other like the RSI, the MACD. I have things that I look at for confirmations, but for the most part, I am just a fib trader. And if it doesn't play out, it doesn't play out. I don't force it. And I feel like that's one of the things that maybe people have a problem with is that they force it. They're looking for a trade to like a huevo, they want to be in a trade. You know what I'm saying? Like they're forcing it. And guys, if it's not there, it's not there. And if you miss out, you miss out, right? But the reason why, and I don't know if you guys have followed my story this past week, but I showed you guys the decline from 50,000 or 50,000. I don't even remember where it was at, all the way down where I mean, look at how low it went. It went like 43 something, right? It went to my 50% area on the daily. So for those of you guys that, no, okay, for those of you guys that have followed me or that saw my story, like you guys saw every time that there could have been a trade put in, okay? And I want you guys to catch that. I want to show you guys that, okay? So I know that you guys already, like, how many of you guys have watched Curtis Cobain, the tutorial where he talks about the sweet spot, like where he uses fibs? How many of you guys have watched it? Okay, Chris watched it. Michael, I know you were watching it. Beto, okay, you've been watching it. Zach watched it, okay? So you guys have to understand that that is where I learned it from. Okay. Now I find it funny. And that's one of the reasons why I'm going to kind of like limit the trainings that I do, because people want the easy way. Like they don't want to like do the work. They don't want to go in there and watch it. And all of you guys, and I'll never forget because like Michael told me that he was going to ask me all these questions, but he's like, you told me to watch Curtis Cobain, so I'm going to go do that instead. And he did, right? And I bet you he answered a lot of the questions that you had, right? And so like, this is where I'm like, okay, well, you guys are doing the work. Like, and I know that if you guys are part of our team, and for those of you guys wondering why I invited him, because he's not on our team personally, it's because he's been on every single one of my trainings, okay? He's asked questions, asked to plug in. I've even done some trainings for his team. He's like one of my top students that I'd like to consider that, because he's always there, always asking questions, and I love that. So I want him to have the sauce, you know what I mean? I want him to learn this. But for those of you guys that are on our squad, you guys know that I always push the academy. I mean, I always push watching the videos, because that is where you guys are going to get the value. You know, I just happened to learn it, kept it simple, and I do it. You know what I mean? And so I want to do it with you guys, right? We're going to throw fibs on charts together. We're going to do all of this together, because I want you guys to understand where to have the entry. Okay. Like Zach was telling me how he kept on getting stopped out, right? So we're going to see if our stop losses are too tight. We're going to see where to actually put in a trade. We're going to see where it's better to put in a buy stop as opposed to a buy limit. Okay, like these are all very important, guys, because I promise you it's going to help your trading. It's going to take it to the next level because you guys are going to eliminate your drawdown, or you're going to eliminate your losses. And guys, I am huge on eliminating losses, eliminating drawdown. Like if it overshoots my like projected entry, I wait and until it's much lower, and then I'll put a buy stop so then it hits me on the way up. Do you know what I'm saying? And then I trail my stop loss so tightly in case it does reverse. I get stopped out, but I get stopped out in profit. So even though my profits may be $20, $15, $8, whatever, I know that I'm in profit. I mean, how many of you guys would rather be $8 in profit than to hit your stop loss at 20 or 50 pips or whatever, right? Like blue is always going to be better. And that's what I want to show you guys. Like your trading, your wins aren't going to come from catching the big swings. They're not going to come from catching that big swing from the bottom all the way up. They're going to come from you trailing your stop loss. They're going to come from you using proper risk management and not being greedy. Okay. And guys, like right now, I'm in a buy and I did catch my buy. It activated my 50% entry on the daily. Like I knew that there was a possibility that price was going to go down to like 53, maybe even, I'm sorry, 43, maybe even 40,000 if it would have hit the 618. And so like I knew that it was going to still go down, but there's going to be so many moves up and down in between, right? And so I ended up catching that trade on the bottom, but even in between, you guys, like there's been some pullbacks. And so if you trail your stop loss and you get pulled back and you get stopped out, like so many people will be like, no, I'm not going to put a stop loss. But what if that thing would have just reversed and gone all the way down to activate like the other entries, right? Like that would have been over 3,000 pips from my 50 to my 618. So you guys don't have an account big enough to handle a 3,000 pip stop loss, do you? You know what I'm saying? And so the majority of people don't. I don't even think my account can handle a 3,000 pip, not the amount of trades that I put in. One trade maybe, but I put in like 6 trades. So there's no way I would have been able to handle a 3,000 pip like stop loss. So, or a drawdown. So this is where you guys have to understand that where you guys enter is not going to get you guys the bags. It's going to be where you guys stop out, where you guys close because of your stop losses or whatever. So I want to know right now, and I know that we do have some newer people, so they may not understand like fibs completely. But for those of you like Stephanie, Michael, Chris, like you guys have been trading Caesar, you guys have been trading with fibs for a while, or at least seen it happen. So do you guys get the concept? Like, and this is where you guys, there's only 11 of us on this chat. I want you guys to ask questions. 12 of us, Erica just joined us, but I want you guys to ask questions. Like, if you guys have questions like, okay, yeah, I get it. You know, enter it from, you know, you're doing low to high. Where can I buy? High to low? How low can you go? But where, like, I'm getting trouble on which candle to put the fib from. Like, whatever question you have, like, I want you guys to ask it, because this is where we're going to answer everything. Okay. So if you guys have a question, that I've been working on it, getting it now. Okay, good. So if you guys have a question, or if you guys like, ask it now, either like unmute yourself and ask, and then we're all going to do it together.
Can you hear me? Yeah, you can hear me. It's Zach.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I do have a question. And I'm normally pretty good at spotting a reverse in the market, but sometimes I'm just so caught up in my thoughts of the direction that it's going that I fail to recognize a change in the patterns. And so like, I just wanted to know, like, I know that you said that you had a buy set up for the sweet spot for when it would hit around 53,000. I mean, is that something that you just had anticipated the whole entire time that it was falling, or like?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So that's just like my basic, like a basic thing that I've been wanting to know, and I think that's it. But other than that, everything that you've been showing me, dude, I'm like, I got it. You know what I mean? I'm in it right now.
Good. So I'm going to show you guys. That's actually a very good, like, not, I mean, it wasn't a question really. It was just like, he wanted to see, hold on one second. Let me just do this really quick, because
I failed to anticipate the change.
Yeah. So a lot of people ask me that a lot, believe it or not. They're like, well, how do you know it's going to go down? Or how do you know this? How do you know that? And I'm going to show you guys. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys over here. Okay. I'm actually going to go to the daily. So when I'm trading, first, let me mute everybody, and then we can all, like, if you guys have questions or whatever, then we can unmute. You can unmute yourselves and ask the question. Okay. So, all right. So when you guys ask me, like, okay, so what time frame do you use? Guys, I use all the time frames, all of them. I go to the daily and I see what's going on, okay? So when I'm on the daily chart, I look to see what it is that's going on, because this is the overall of everything. And I know it looks super messy, you guys, and I'm not going to delete it. So just bear with me. I'll go ahead and I'll zoom in so you guys can see closer. But check it out, you guys. So for the longest time, we've been in an uptrend, like you guys can see, right? We had this little pullback here, and this was the last time that it went down. And so you guys can see from way over here, like all we've been having is just like here we had a low, right? Which was when it dipped down in March of last year, almost a year ago, right? But then from there, like all we've been seeing is either higher highs and lower highs, because it keeps climbing. You know what I'm saying? Unless we have like a big consolidation period here. And so if you guys know, when you guys are throwing fibs, like you always want to throw a fib from the, like if, especially if it's a buy, you want it to go from the highest low position. So the higher low and the higher high. Now you guys can see that there was a beautiful position right here, right? So there was a low and there was a high. So if you guys would have seen this, and then remember that none of this was here, like all of this white, like when the minute that there was a pullback, like the minute that the other daily candle started going to the downside, that's when you guys could have just thrown your fib on there, because one of two things would have happened. Okay. So if you guys would have thrown your fib and you guys would have seen the high to low, like look at, that's the 50% 618. That's the sweet spot. So you know that that's the area that it could potentially go down. Now, if you guys look further, like closer here, then you guys can see that price, hold on one second. So here, you guys, so this candle, when it started coming down, like that's when you put it on there, right? When you start seeing that it's going down, I was like, okay, this could be the potential pullback, you put it on there. So the one of two things that could have happened was either it plays out, and obviously since this is a daily chart, you know that it's going to play out with time. Like there's going to be days, you know what I'm saying, for it to play out. Excuse me. So especially because each candle is a day, so you know that it's going to take a couple of days for it to actually get to your position. So it could go down to the 50% 618, or what could have happened is, again, you still throw your fib on there and it could have just come back, touched the 236 or the 382 and shot back up. So was there a possibility of it still going down? Yes. You know what I'm saying? But this is where you have to see, like, if you see it on the daily and you know that it could potentially still touch the 236 and then shoot back up, it's still going to go down first. Okay. So you throw your fib on there from low to high. So Zach, this is how I knew that it could have potentially hit that area. And on any of my trainings, like you could have seen that there was a blue area there. I didn't say what it was. It was just my blue area. I had it set up, right? And so I've had that set up since I think last week when I said, oh my God, this could be the potential like pull back. And if you guys study the emotional, like the psychology wave, then you know that that would have been for it to the highest, like the euphoria state, and then for it to start coming back down, right? And so you knew that that would have played out. Like that could have been the potential, you know what I'm saying, the wave to finish out the wave. So when you guys see this, like that's already telling me like, okay, that's a potential move to the downside. Even if it would have come down here, guys, look it, that's like, they went to 58 and then to come down to 51, like that's still a decent amount of pips. So even there, like you could have seen, okay, like it's still going to go down. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I look at. So I saw it on the daily first, okay? And I marked it up. If there's something to be marked up on the daily, then that's what there is to be marked up, okay? So now I go into the 4 hour, okay? So on the 4 hour, I'll look at it and then I'll start seeing, so like this is right around the thing, right? And so like even here, like you could see that, okay, well, you don't see anything yet because from on the 4 hour, you're still seeing a low to high. It could be a potential buy area, right? And so I already knew that from the daily that it could still go down, right? So I could possibly mark that up and be like, okay, well, maybe it's gonna like fake us out and go to the upside, which would have kind of played out the area, the 236 area. So these are still potential buys. Like you have to keep everything in mind, right? So then you see here, you could have come here and done the low to high, and even at the 50% 618, sorry, you guys are still above the 236 area, right? So then it could have just done the same thing, touched, and then gone to the upside. Like it could have hit 65,000 if it would have kept going to the upside, right? So I look at the 4-hour, because remember that none of this is here, okay? Then I go to the hourly, I see the same thing, right? I'm looking to see if there's anything. So I'm over here, I'm looking, and then I see like, okay, well, there's a low to high. Where can I buy? That was probably a buy area. And then it came up here, right? And so that's all I see right there. Okay. But when I come down to the 15, this is where I found that first sell that it just kind of was an avalanche down, rolling down, right? The ball rolling on all the way down to the lowest point that we had. Hold on, let me get it to it, guys. Okay. So here, right? And so on the 15-minute, I see that there is a high to low. Okay. So I went to the daily, I went to the 4-hour. The 4-hour, I could still catch a potential buy. On the hour, there was still a potential buy, right? But then you go down to the 15-minute, and then I see, okay, well, there's the high and there's the low. So this was a potential sell area. And because on the daily, I still saw it going down. And if you guys remember, on the 4-hour, there was still a potential buy. The buy would have still been a lower entry. Okay. So even though I see like a buy setup, right? The overall, there was still a sell. So there was still a sell that I could have caught in between. So in this case, it was a high to low. That was the sell area. And then we caught it, right? And then it came down, right? It kept coming down. And then what did it create? It created, this is the highest high, right? This is a lower high. So from this lower high, and what did it create? It created a lower low, right? So then you put your fib from here to here, and it gave you another sell area, okay? And then again, it created a lower high, right? And it's going down, it's going down. The minute that it starts moving up, then it created a lower low. So then you mark it up again, low, high to low, another sell area, okay? The green lines are 786 entries, you guys, okay? Now, if you guys remember, if it overshoots your 618, just, take the L, right? Because you're going to put your stop loss. You're going to take your stop loss, but then you can put a sell stop. So it activates you on the way down. Okay. So again, that was a sell area, and look at it created another lower high, and then it created a lower low. So guys, this is where looking at it from the daily down to the 15-minute, it helps you, because you guys get surgical with it. You guys understand that, yes, on the daily, it shows that there's only one or two ways it could go, up or down, right? But you know that overall, it's gonna go down first, because even if it is for, like, let's say it would have hit the 236 area, it would have come down and then shot up. On the 4-hour, even if it would have been a buy, low to high, where can we buy? It still would have come down to the 50% 618 or 786, 886, and then shot up. On the hour, even if it would have been a buy, it was low to high, the buy still would have had to have been lower. So you do understand that even though you can see, like, overall that, there could be a buy, but guys, it's still going to go down. So on the daily, I was looking for a buy, but what does that tell me on the lower time frames? That there's going to be sells to that buy area, right? So that's what you see, you guys. So then here, so like this is all of the sells that you could have taken. And guys, I counted in 6 days that it took all of this to play out, 40 trades, you guys, 40 trades that you could have caught all in between. And if you guys wouldn't have caught the top, then you guys could have caught this one or this one or this one or this one, because you guys, it still would have given you a decent amount of pips. Now, you guys, this area right here, this is an area where I had put a buy, right? And only because I started seeing the pullback, right? Like I had put my take profit at 48, excuse me. And then I put the buy, right? And so that was just like a number that I wanted to put. I can't tell you why I did it. I honestly just threw it out. Like I just like, okay, it's going to go to this area and that's it. And that's what I did, right? And so I don't even know how I caught this buy, but I did. I caught it on the way up. But even then, you guys, all of these little trades, you could have taken them, okay? And all of them are fib trades. Every single block that you see is from a fib. It is from a fib. This sell is on the 4-hour, okay? And I'll show you guys how I got it there too. But everything is from a fib, you guys, everything. So I only trade fibs. Like, I don't have this, like, you know, oh, I don't use the, what do you call it? I forgot what it's called. Shit. The, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you call it. I forget. Like, I'm drawing a blank right now, but you guys get it. I don't use patterns. I don't use anything but fibs. Now, I do use my Bollinger Bands. My Bollinger Bands really help me a lot when, just to see certain entries, or to see like when we're going to have that pullback, only because Bollinger Band theories, I don't care what anybody says, it works. 90% of the market is traded within the Bollinger Bands. And so if you add the Bollinger Bands, let me delete, which one should we delete so you can see? We're going to delete this one. We can always edit back. Okay, so watch. Bollinger Bands, boom. We add them, okay? So check it out. When you guys are trading with Bollinger Bands, Bollinger Band theory is if it overshoots the Bollinger Band, chances of it coming up are really high, okay? So every time that you guys see the Bollinger Band, like, this is why I use Bollinger Bands, because it come down, it touched the bottom of the Bollinger Band, chances of it at least touching the middle again are pretty high. So obviously we're using fibs, but check it out. Look, bottom of the Bollinger Band, boom, it hit the middle. Bottom of the Bollinger Band, boom, it hit the middle. Bottom of the Bollinger Band, it overshot it, boom, it hit the middle. Bottom of the Bollinger Band, it overshot it, hit the middle. Bottom of the Bollinger Band, definitely overshot it. And when you see this outside of the Bollinger Band, chances of it coming right back up real quick are really high. And look at that, boom, touch the middle again, right? So here, because it was at the bottom, chances of it going up are really high. And so this is where we caught the buy, right? And then here we used fibs again, and then it came down. It kind of rode the Bollinger Band down here. Again, overshot it, touched the middle, you know, came back, touched the middle, came down, overshot it. You knew that it could go up right here, boom, touched the middle, came back down, overshot it, you know, so then you see it. So I use Bollinger Bands a lot, you guys, just because I know that there's a chance that I could catch or know that the move is going to happen because of the Bollinger Bands, okay? So all of these entries, you guys, they're all from just fibs. And guys, if you saw my story, a lot of these squares were drawn out before anything happened. So if I had something like this happen, like, then this was a buy area that I was waiting for it to hit. So this blue square was just there when I was, you know, either saying like, oh, this sell, counting how many pips we caught, right? Same thing over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time that I would post a story, I always had a square next to it, which was a potential entry for me, either a buy or a sell. And so that is how I did it. Like, all of these were just entries from fibs, okay? Going down. Like this one, this was a sell that I was waiting for to hit on the 4-hour. Now on the 15-minute, I knew that it wasn't going to hit right away. Like, you see all of this. So watch. We come to the 4-hour. Okay. I'm going to show you guys how I came up with it. So overall, you guys, there's a high and there was a low, right? So I was like, I did the same thing. I just went from higher time frames to lower time frames. I put my fib, boom, 50%, 618, high to low. How low can you go? There's the red square. So that red square was there forever. So you see, I already knew that it was going to go down because I had already marked it up. So I had that square, I had it already. So I knew on the longer time frames that it was going to go to this area before it went down lower. Now, obviously we had a big move down, but the minute that it started going back up, I knew that it was going to create that high to low or low to high that I needed, right? And so that is how I predicted the square. Now, I go back to the 15-minute after that. And all I do is just watch price, you guys. Like, there's so many, I could have just, and I do this a lot too. I was just telling Charlie today that I don't trade 24/7. Like, I'm not on the computer. I know that it may seem like that because I'm always posting it, but you guys, sometimes I just go and I look at the chart and I see it and then I'll post about it. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, sometimes I'll just take these trades, the big ones, and I let them ride out. So I don't take anything in between. This past week, the only reason why I really ping-ponged and took all of these trades and I posted to show people was because I wanted people to see that I'm not full of shit. I wanted people to see that it's that simple. I wanted people to see that you could have potentially caught every single one of these trades, which equaled out to 40, and all of them play out in your direction with minimal drawdown. And then you guys would have taken profit on all of them, but because I would have forced you guys to move your stop loss. And that's why I kept posting. And I posted not only from my trading view, but I posted from my MetaTrader because I wanted you guys to see that I was moving my stop losses. So if it reversed, guess what? I closed out in profit. And so that's why I wanted to see it. But you guys could easily have just been the swing traders or just waited for the days to play out, because that's where you guys would have gotten the big moves. You know what I mean? So you don't have to catch the everything in between. I like the everything in between. It's fun. Like I literally will sit here and I'll be like, oh, I have another buy. I have an active fib. I have a sell. I have a buy. And my partner just laughs at me because like I'm just over and over and over again showing him all of these trades, right? And so the big trade that I told you that we were waiting for on the 4 hour, guys, once it activated, like, we already had caught the big move down, right? And then all of the ping ponging, and then we caught that big move, another big move to the downside. And guys, I'm going to tell you this, and I don't tell you guys this to impress you. I tell you guys this to impress upon you how many pips you could have caught by doing this, okay? I added up every single trade. If you would have taken it from the highest, entry, like here, this was a 786 entry. If you guys would have taken the sell right there down to the TP, I calculated how many pips you would have caught in all of those trades. Can anybody guess? Like, I want to see what your guys' guess is. Can somebody guess how many pips would have been in that time frame? Like it was 6 days, I think. How many pips from the top all the way to the bottom? Like, take a wild guess. Put it in the chat. Unmute yourself. I don't care. I want to see what you guys think. Miguel, you can't answer because I told you how many pips it was. Okay, Zach says 40,000. Anybody else? Anybody want to guess?
Maybe like 60 to 70.
Who said that?
1,000.
Who said
John.
that? John said that. John says 60, 70,000. Seth says 745. Any other guesses? 50. Caesar says 50. Guys, it was 78,000 pips. 78,000 pips from the top, from here, all the way, everything, every single entry, every single ping pong, everything from here, 6 days, 78,000 pips. And I counted and I counted and I counted over and over again to make sure every sell, every buy, one trade only, one trade from the entry to the lowest point. 78,000 pips, you guys, in 6 days. Okay. And I remember like calculating over and over again and just blown away, because so many people get this academy, you guys, so many people get this academy, and I think that they take it for granted. I don't think they truly understand the value that we have in this. Okay. Because do I expect everybody to pick up trading right away? No, I don't. But I do expect people to give themselves a chance. I expect people to believe in themselves enough where they're going to stick with the academy enough where they can gain something. You know what I mean? And I've said this before in many of my trainings, where people will go to college and they'll spend the whole semester, like the first year, right? They'll pay for it and they get nothing in return. All they get are bills, right? Because they have to pay for school, pay for either housing or books or whatever, even the transportation to get there. And they don't get anything in return. But here, people are so like, their mentality of the 175 monthly is so thrown off because it's not an expense, it's an investment, and they could get something back. 175, if you calculate what the enrollment is plus 175 a month for a whole year is $2,000, 2,000 something. Okay. And people could potentially make money, not only with the copy and paste trades, but if they really buckle down and learn this, they could be catching 78,000 pips. Guys, even if you would have caught half of that, okay? Even if you would have caught 30,000 pips at 10 cents, that's $3,000, okay? Like, you guys got to understand, even at a penny, you know what I'm saying? Like, you guys, in 6 days, like, there's so much that you could have caught, or like the value. And so I did that to show people that it could be done. So this past week, everything that I was posting was to show people that it could be done. And I know that it's like easier said than done. I have been trading for a while, but guys, I haven't been trading crypto as long as I've been involved in with IM. You know what I'm saying? And like even then, I still make mistakes, and I want you guys to learn from my mistakes so you guys aren't making them. And one of the things that you guys have to learn to do is to be professional trade closers. I've said that many times. You guys need to be able to close a trade. You guys need to be able to take the money. Okay. Now, if you guys would have trailed your stop losses in any of these trades, let's say you would have gone in here, boom, 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 you're in, you would have moved your stop loss, you would have gone and stopped out. Okay, boo-hoo-hoo. Let's see how many pips you would have caught. From here, let's say you would have caught, stopped out right there, 2,200 pips. Are you going to be sad about that? No. So what you guys need to get in the habit of is closing your trades, trailing your stop loss. Here, if let's say you guys would have, obviously it passed your 50%, 618, but let's say you would have put some buy stops on the way up. Okay, let's say you even up from the highest entry from here. And if you guys would have just trailed your stop loss, right? Let's say that you guys would have trailed it and moved it around right here, then boom, you guys would have got to stop that at 1,500 pips, well, almost 1,600. Okay, but then it would have activated your sell. And even at the sell, if you guys would have taken this sell, that was the 50. It only activated the 50. And if you guys, let's say you guys would have come here and then you moved your stop loss, right? So it came down lower, but then you got stopped out right here. Okay. So that's 4,500 pips. Guys, do you see? Like, this is something that you guys need to see. And even then, let me show you. Let's say you guys would have gotten stopped out there. There's a high and there's a low. Let's say that you're like, okay, well, shit, I got stopped out. Like, I want to get back in this trade. Okay. So you do the high to low. And guess what, you guys? If it doesn't pass your 382 or your 236, then you know that this is still going to continue to the downside. So you guys could have taken another sell right here because it wouldn't have passed that. So if you guys see that it would have been in this area and kept like touching this area, put a sell stop right here. And then boom, you guys could have gone back into the sell. So I wanted to show you guys this because I think that I know that a lot of you guys get that concept of fib trading. I know you guys get it. And I'm going to keep, drilling it in your heads until you guys get it. Okay. The ping ponging, that's something that I do. I mean, you guys are going to get it once you guys learn fibs, but I'm going to show you now. Okay. And Zach, this is because like you kept on telling me that you were getting stopped out. And I was like, okay, well, I want to help you with that. Like if you're having that issue, then that means that there's more of our team that's having that issue. Okay. So obviously this is that buy. This is the blue square on the daily that I showed you guys. So this was the area that I thought that Bitcoin would go down to, guys. And check it out. Look, I thought that it would go down to this, to 40,000. So this was an area. And if you guys can see, it's a pretty big area that I figured, okay, Bitcoin could come down and hit these areas and go back up. So, we were lucky. It only like kind of was around the 50% area. So it only activated my 50%. Okay. Now it activated and then it was in drawdown and then I was back in profit and drawdown and profit, whatever. Right. But even then, if you guys would have seen that or had that marked up, then you guys could have, once you saw that price was down here, you could have put a buy stop here on the way up. All right. But I want to show you guys. So this was an area that I had a buy limit, right? And so it activated my limit. So from here to here, like obviously just that one trade, you guys look at how many pips that is. It's 6,237 pips, right? So you guys see that was the big swing, right? That's the one move that everybody looks for. They're like, I just want to catch that one big swing up, that one big move. You know what I mean? But when you guys can understand that there's chances for you guys to enter, because like Zach was telling me, he's like, oh, I keep getting stopped out or whatever, because like maybe we're entering it too soon or we don't know what's happening. So guys, the fib works when you are looking for a legit 50%, like a sweet spot entry. Okay. Now I've already talked about how it could potentially go to the 786. That's like the last line of defense. So there could be a possible entry at the 786. 886 is, like, you know what I mean? Like that's already the last, if it goes past that, then you're probably seeing a continuation to the same direction. But when you guys can understand that there's chances for you guys to enter again, or enter the trade period without having to like wait, because it's not going to come back down to this area. You know what I'm saying? So I was in, we had a little pullback here, right? Which if you guys can see, this is the lowest, and I'm going to zoom in just so you guys can see. Okay. for those of you guys, because the fib, we're not only looking for just the sweet spot, we're looking for possible entries so that way we can get in, okay? So if you guys have watched Curtis Cobain, then you guys know that the white hot zone, sorry, that is an area that you need to look out for, because if it doesn't pass that area, then we do not have an active fib, which means that, like in this case, the buyers, we have more buyers and sellers, they're stronger, so it's going to keep pushing it to the upside, okay? So like here we had the low, right? And then we had a high here, and then we had a pullback, okay? So obviously, if you guys didn't get in down here, you know what I mean, you could have just waited and then seen for this little pullback. So if you guys would have thrown your fib here from this low to this high, okay, then you guys would have seen that here we have the 236 and the 382, right? So price came down right at the 382 and then came back up. So it respected this area, which means that the buyers were stronger. So it's just going to go back up. Guys, this is a time that you guys could have entered the trade again. You guys could have put up, when you saw it come down to the 382, you could have put a buy stop here at the 236 and then just watched it activate on the way up. Why? Because if it respected this area and it closed right at that area and then opened above that area, then chances are it's gonna keep going up. You know, and even if it went up and then came back down, you would have gone stopped out in profit because you would have moved your stop loss, right? Like that's what everybody's gonna get in the habit of doing, and if you guys get stopped out because you trailed your stop loss, look at all of the chances you had to re-enter, okay? So that was a chance that you could have re-entered here. Put a buy stop here and then boom, caught it on the way up, right? So this little pullback here, it gave you a higher low, right? And then over here, there was a high and then it came back. You had that other little pullback. So what did it create? A higher high. So now you're going to throw your fib again on this little pullback here. And then you're going to see, okay, so this, you're still looking for possible buys because low to high, where can you buy, right? But if it doesn't come down to your 50% 618 and it's respecting your 382, 236 area, then that is still an entry for you guys to go to the upside. So here it came down, right? It didn't close, but it came down twice, touched this area twice before it went up. So right here, you guys could have done the same thing and just put a buy stop on the 236 and boom, caught another entry on the way up, okay? And then we're gonna do it all over again. So here is a higher low and here is a higher high, right? So then here, we're gonna do the same thing, okay? Now, in this case, you guys, this is the 382, the 236. Okay, so this was the white hot zone. Okay, now you can see that this wick almost went into the 50%, but it didn't. But even though it did that, you guys still could have done the same thing and put a buy stop right here and entered again. Now, here, you guys, this is where we actually had a legit buy. So here, okay, so, oh, you know what? We probably didn't. Why did I put that one? Huh. Did I measure it from the bottom one? Let me see. Oh, I think I measured it from down here, you guys. Yeah, I did. Okay, so here, see? So once we had this little, it wasn't enough. So all I did was just mark it up from there to there and we had a 50% 618. So here, it still would have been the same entry as the other one. So I kind of just marked it up just so you guys can see. If you play with fibs, you'll be able to see some just entries, okay? And then again here, you guys, low to high. This was the white hot zone. And then again here, and then here we have a high to low. So this is where I was saying that even here, you guys, if you would have done here, this high, this low to high up here, okay, it started coming down low. So it would have gone past lower, right? And so it created a higher low right here. So then, or a lower low in this case. And so if you guys would have just put your fib here on the opposite, because it was a high point and then it went down, and then this is a lower high. So here you guys could have caught that sell and then just taken this sell down to this buy area, because once it started coming down, it created, okay, the other low to high. Or where did I get this buy from? I think I'm all confusing myself from here to here, okay? I should mark them up next time. Yeah, so this was the buy area from this to this point, okay? And I think I actually went to the 1 hour to find that. But regardless, if you guys would have caught this little sell, check it out. From the highest point here, you guys would have caught 500 pips, 600 pips, okay? So anyways, you guys, I wanted to show you, and if it just keeps going and going, if you guys just keep throwing fibs on here, you guys will either find a sweet spot entry. Oops, hold on one second. You guys would have found a sweet spot entry, or you guys would have seen that you could have gone in again on the 236, okay? Now here, check this out, okay? Okay, so when you see this one, no, did I do this on the hour? I'm sorry, you guys. It's because sometimes I'll go back and forth just to see what I see. Okay, here. So when I started seeing that it was going up and down a lot there, I went to the 1 hour, okay? Now on the 1 hour, check it out. This is where I marked it up. So you can see that on the 1 hour, you see you have this low point and you have this high point. So it's very distinguished as opposed to the 15-minute where you kind of see it, you know, like kind of up and down. Although you could have caught all of these up and downs, like you have this pull back here, right? So I wanted to see it on the higher time frame. So all I did was just mark it up from here to here. And that's where I caught the 50% 618. But I was also able to mark up, my white hot zone, which you can see that it respected that zone and then moved up. Okay. So do you guys see how like the different time frames are going to show you different things in case you're confused or in case you don't know? Like here, I started confusing my damn self and I'm the one that marked up this chart. You know what I'm saying? So here, I could see that this pullback here on the 1 hour, it's gonna be, that's the area. So I marked it up. So it's between these two areas right here. But if I would have marked up, if I would have just kept marking up my high to low, low to high, you know, and so on and so forth, I could have confused myself. You know what I mean? But even then, now we have this low point and we have this high point that's pretty clear on the 15-minute. And this was my sweet spot on the 1 hour, you guys. I just wanted to see if it would potentially come down and hit that area. So I marked it up just in case. But you guys can see here that I put it on there just in case it does, you know, and I could have set a buy limit if I wanted to, but I saw that it respected this area. So there was no need to, okay? So now we have this low and now we have this high, okay? So here, and you guys could even get really technical and gone here to here, but look at this wick came down way down here. So you guys would have been in drawdown. So you're better off just this low to this high, measure it. Let's get surgical with it. Boom. So this is your 50% 618. This would have been a little buy right here. And you guys see how it went straight into that buy. Okay. But check this out, you guys. Are you ready for this? There's a high. Now there's a low. So what are we going to do? We're going to put, the minute that it started going up, we could have marked up this sell area right here. The 50%, 618 for a sell. And look at that, you guys. It's going down right now. Now I want to show you guys something also. Now, on the daily, overall, what do we have? So can this go back down? Yeah, it could. High to low. I can't see with all my stupid markings. Okay, so that's on the daily, okay? So if we marked it up on the daily, okay, so we have this sell area right here that it could potentially come up, touch it, and then come back down, right? Or we have the 382. Hold on one second. Let me move this because I cannot see. Let me just bring it out more. So here we have the white hot zone for the daily. Oh, we're not going to be able to see that one right there. But anyways, you guys, you see it's right here It's between this one and this one. Okay. So it could potentially come back down if it respects this area, but this is on the daily. Okay. But do you guys see, like, are you guys seeing this? You guys getting it? So there was a high to low. So now if it breaks past this, then we have a strong possibility of it coming down to our 50% and coming back down, but it could pass it. It could pass the 786, it could pass the 886, and it could be the move to the upside. Okay. Now, if you look on the 4 hour, 4 hour, we are still very much going up. Okay. But this is the sell area that we have on the daily. And this is the between this and somewhere over here, we still have that area. So we have a low to high because we already have this white candle coming down. So if we mark that up on the 4 hour, I'm trying to make it bigger, you guys, just so my lines don't get you mixed up. So here, let's look on the 4 hour. Low to high. Okay. God damn it. I can't see my. Okay. So guys, low to high, where can you buy? This is the potential area right here. It's the 50% 618. Okay. Unless, again, it respects these areas and then goes back up, which it still can because we have either it's going to respect the areas to go back down or it's going to hit this spot up here. Okay. Then we go to the 1 hour. I didn't want to mark up that. Oh, I guess I should have. Hold on one second. Let's just mark it up. It's going to be super messy. Yeah. Okay. My charts are always messy, you guys. I'm sorry. I hope you can read them. I hope they don't bother, like, confuse you. Okay. So we're going to put this for the buy, and we'll put it way out here just so that way it's away from everything else. Okay. So there, that's our buy on the 4 hour. Okay. So now we have a sell on the daily and a buy on the 4 hour. Okay. Now we go to the 1 hour. What do we see on the 1 hour? What do we see? We see a high, a low to high. Where can we buy? Okay. So this is another buy area right here. So do you see it's already in that buy area? So it came down, it came down, it wicked it. It's in this buy area right now, could potentially go up and then come back down into the big buy area or whatever. But do you guys see, like, the smaller time frames you go, you can catch everything in between. Then we go to the 15-minute, and what do we see? Okay, that was a sell. We went low from here, low to high. Where can you buy? High to low. How low can you go? Okay, so guys, this is, first of all, that's how I mark up my charts. That's how I see everything. That's where I see all of the potential, you know, any potential like move, I see it like that. So we have our potential buy on the 4 hour here. And let me delete this one because it actually did not play out. Okay. So we have this buy on the 4 hour and this sell on the daily. So do you guys can see, like, that for, like, Zach, that you're asking me, like, how I can see if it's going to go up or down, or how I could tell, like, how to spot the reversals. I usually just do fibs. And I'm always just doing fibs. And the way that I don't lose on it is just I just trail my stop loss. And when you trail your stop loss, you really do eliminate any losses, because all you're doing is just trailing it. And then, like, in this case, I would have put, like, I got my buy, right? And I would have put my TP on the sell. And then on the sell, that I would have trailed my stop loss until it created another potential buy area for me. Then I would have put my my TP on that buy area. So yeah, you guys, like, I wanted to show you this because all of these could have been chances for you guys to enter. Okay. I wanted to show you what I see on the daily because those are potential moves. Now, again, guys, they're only potential. I'm not saying it's going to hit this area and come back down. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I say, price could always do one of two things, either go up or down. You know what I mean? And so there's always a chance that it could go the opposite way. Like it could hit this area, but it could say like, fuck you, yeah, boom, 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 and keep going all the way up. But guess what? That's what stop losses are for. You put your stop loss, and if it does keep going, then you get stopped out and then reevaluate your whole analysis and then see, because if you do see it keep going up and you see a potential little pullback, guess what? Mark up your fib. See if there is another entry where you guys can get in. The last thing that you want to do, which I want you guys to be 100% honest with me. How many of you guys see it going up and you right away enter? You just mark it, execute a buy because you're like, oh, I'm going to catch it. And then you get stuck in this little pullback and then you get stopped out because it's too big. It's too much for like leverage wise, like it's too much and you get stopped out. Your account couldn't handle it. Like, be honest. I want to know how many of you guys do that, because sometimes I'll still do it. I'll jump in and I'm like, God damn it, shit, right? Because I got in either too fast and I didn't wait, right? That was one of my questions. When do you measure the ultimate low and the high rather than measuring from previous highs and lows and higher high? Did I answer your question, Michael? Damn, this is solidifying it for me. Good. Not anymore. Good. Yup. I still do. All right, guys, if you guys can stop yourselves and be like, okay, slow down. What do I see? Go to the daily, go to the 4 hour, go to the 1 hour, go to the 15-minute and mark it up. Like you guys can see, I like to do the 15-minute just because the 15-minute will give you a shorter time frame, like quicker if there's a pullback. Any little pullback, you can mark it up and then you guys can see. And let me tell you why a buy stop on the 236 as opposed to the 382, because it could go down and touch the 382. But it could come back up. It could keep going like that. But if you put your buy stop on the 236, then if it does keep going down to your 50% 618, well, good. Then you know you have another entry. But if it doesn't, like we saw that one wick that almost touched the 50, but it went back up, guess what? You weren't in any drawdown because it activated you on the way up at the 236. So you guys can slow down. If you slow down and just see like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like there's something that I could do here as opposed to jumping in right away. That it's going to save you guys. It's going to save you a lot. Like, look, let's look at this here right now. Okay. We have a sell and it's starting to come back up. We have 4 minutes before the next candle opens. So let's see. We have here the high. See, it's the high. This is the highest closing candle. This is the wick. And then we have the lowest closing candle, which is not the blue one, you guys. It looks like it's the white one. Actually, they look the same. Let's just get closer. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to say they're the same. So we're just going to put on the blue one. Okay. So guys, here we go. So this is what we see right now in the 15-minute. Okay. So this would be our high to low, right? This would be a potential other sell area. Okay. So we could mark it up. Let's do it. Let's mark it up. Put a sell area right here. Let's make that red. Okay. Or this is your white hot zone. And look at it came back up, came down, came back up. I mean, it came back up and then it's coming back down and now it's coming back up, right? So it's been touching this area. So it needs to break past these two to be a sweet spot entry for a sell. If not, then if it does come back up closer to here, then you could put a sell stop here and then just keep going down. Why do we think that it might be keep going down? Because on the 4 hour, or let's go into the 1 hour. Did we see anything here? No, but on the 4 hour, this is a potential buy area, right? Because on the 4 hour, we have this low and we have this high. And so this could be a potential buy area, okay? Guys, I apologize again for all my freaking, all my lines. Sorry. All right, so the 236, 382 area is somewhere in between this mess of lines. So it could potentially reject and then come up, and it might be our daily sell. Okay, so do you guys see, like, if you know where price, what it might potentially do, like you have a better chance of understanding like if it's something you want to take or not. Okay. In this case, on the 15-minute, price is still there. Price is not giving me any indication that, you know, I want it to be, that I want to take it, you know, like put in any buy limit, sell limits here, because right now it's still here. And guys, this still isn't something that I would take, even though it's rejecting off of this, I still wouldn't take anything because it could just come back down a little bit and then shoot back up, right? So I'm not going to take anything. I'm going to wait either for it to come back up lower, like higher, and put a sell stop here so it activates on my way down, or I'm going to wait for it to come back into this area, you know, or once it breaks past the 382, then I can decide whether I want to put a trade here at the 50 or the 618. You already know I put 3 entries, 50, 618, and one in between, right? And even then, I still set my stop loss because it could come up, and it could be a 786 entry and then come down, right? Which if that happens and I get stopped out, then sell stop, right? Or it could just fake me out completely and go straight into my sell for the daily, which I don't think is going to happen because it's a daily candle, you guys. You know, it's going to take a few days for it to get there. So it's going to be like, and then maybe come back down. And maybe it won't even come back down. Maybe it's just going to reject on the daily. And let's look, do I still have my fib on the daily or did I delete it? I think I deleted it. Yeah, I deleted it. But it could also just not pass that area and then just come back down again. So guys, there's so many possibilities, but that's what trading is for you to analyze it. The only, because you can be like, well, yeah, there's so much. If it can go up, it could go down. Like, how am I going to know? You don't know. You're just going to do your analysis the best way that you can and then use proper risk management. What's going to save your ass 100% of the time is proper risk management all the time. So let me see if there's any questions. You guys have any questions so far? Anybody? I'm going to stop sharing really quick so I could see who's on. What's up, Charlie? What's up, Jeanette? Erica? What's up? Are you guys getting it? Are you guys understanding it? Is there anything that you guys want me to go over again? Now's your chance. You guys have me. Ask.
Yeah. I feel like, so you pretty much did answer my question as far as, you know, where to throw the fib, because for me, when I was looking at it, is it literally, I guess for me, I'm like, there's no way it could be this fucking easy. But looking at like just throwing the fib, are you, how do I fucking ask you? Are you literally just every time it creates a new low, or let's say if it's on an uptrend and it creates a new lower low, are you just literally basing it off of that low and then that high? Or when is it that you're going from the low to the high?
Anytime.
Is that the different time frames?
So when I have it set up, like when I start on the daily and I set it up and then I go down to the 4 hour, like I set it up and I mark it up. Whatever it is on the daily, I mark it up. So I mark up, like right now, I marked up my sell, my sweet spot, right? And sometimes I'll mark up my 786, 886, but for the most part, I kind of just play that by ear. But I mark up my sweet spot and I always mark up my white hot zone only because it's not an active fib until it passes that zone, right? And if it doesn't pass that zone, then that's still a potential entry for me to take a trade, you know, like in this case, a sell. Right? I could put a sell stop because if it doesn't pass that zone, I could just put a sell stop and have it like continue it, just kind of like how I did it on the buy. I had marked up my buy and it activated my 50%, right? And so any low and any little pullback, every little pullback, I throw a fib on there. And the only reason why I throw a fib on there is because I can see if it's good, if there's a potential new entry, or if even though there's still an entry regardless, because it could either go into the sweet spot entry, which is ideal because it's lower, right? Or it could just hit the white hot zone and then I could just put a buy stop and continue it up. And so those are really good for people who, and especially on these big swings, well, it's not even, okay, 7,000 pips is a pretty big swing, but like it wasn't fast. It played out throughout the entire day. And so people will be like, oh, I didn't get in, or oh, I missed the entry or whatever. But if you just throw your fib on there and you can see like you're looking for entries. That's what you're doing, right? And so if you see that little pullback and you see it respecting that zone and you do put a buy stop, you can catch it. Even if you just did it one time and you caught it and you caught 4,000 pips because you were able to get in. You didn't market execute when it was the higher high. You waited for that little pullback. You waited for that white candle. And my chart has a white candle for bear candles, right? So you waited for that white candle. You threw a fib on there. And then you saw that, okay, it respected this area, came up a little bit, still kind of in that area, right? And then, but it did pass the 236. Then you can put a buy stop there and then hit it, catch it on the way up. And so the reason why I do that, it's because I want to catch the trades with momentum. Like I don't want to market execute and then it come down and then I'm in drawdown. Like nobody wants to see red. Nobody wants to see that little negative in the red. I think it gives everybody anxiety. Like, oh, and then when that happens, we're human. So we have that human nature to like, oh shit, I'm just going to close out because I'd rather just be negative, this, knowing that it was only X amount of pips, that it was actually the pullback. And then it continued back up. And you would be so pissed with yourself if you closed out that trade and then it ended up being a 4,000 pip move. Do you see what I'm saying? So I do personally, I throw a fib on everything. And I do it from the daily to the 4 hour to the 1 hour to the 15 minute. And you can see my chart has so many lines. And Charlie did tell me you need to mark up, what they are, like label them, but I don't. That's just me. I should. But my chart is so messy because I do that so much. Now I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The only reason why my chart is so messy now is because I wanted to show you guys, and not just you, but I posted on my story because I know there's so many people who still are afraid of crypto, right? And if they were to see it, and if they could see it play out and I can explain it, then maybe they'll be more, I don't know, like, they won't be as scared to jump in or to try it, right? And so the only reason why my chart is so messy right now, it's because of that. Because I wouldn't leave those lines on my chart personally. For me, I would just take the trade and then that's it. Next type thing. But does that answer your question?
It does.
Okay.
And then my next question, do you wait for the candle to close or are you just waiting for it to touch that those levels, like the white hot zone?
No, it has to close.
It has to close.
Yeah. Like to throw my fib on there or just to see if it's gonna
continue in that direction, to put a buy stop or a sell stop, whichever way you're going.
So the minute that it starts printing a candle, like a white candle, like if it starts going to the opposite, it starts pulling back, I throw a fib on there. I wait for the candle to close and then I see where it's at. If it's still at the 236, I don't do anything with it. Cause like I said, that's still not enough confirmation for me, or it's too risky for me to get in there. So I will wait for it to go down to the 382, because then I could put a buy stop on the 236. And then if it still keeps going down, the buy stop that I put doesn't activate. So there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? And if anything, I could catch a buy at the sweet spot and then still catch the buy stop on the way up. So it just gives me an extra trade, an extra whatever pips. You know what I mean? So I do wait for the closure of the candle just because, again, it could pull back a little bit and then shoot back up again. So I wait for the closure of the candle. And then I just wait to see if, where it closes from there. And then it usually takes off. Because we knew that momentum, like once it started building momentum, it was going to continue to the upside. So in this case, I was just looking for entries that people could have entered in. Any other questions? You're welcome. Nobody has questions? I'm going to get off this Zoom and then you're going to, yeah, I have a question.
All right,
so my question, sorry to interrupt. So I have a problem with closing out my profits because I'm anticipating it to stay with a bullish or a bearish pattern. And I know that you said that you're very diligent on closing out your profits as soon as possible, but sometimes I feel like it's just a little too soon. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, is there just no question about it? Just do it, or is it like, I don't know, be a little risky? I don't know.
So that's going to depend on you. Like I trail my stop loss pretty tightly, and tightly on Bitcoin is like 400 or 500 pips. Okay. So like the reason, like you have to get okay with taking profit, because if you guys go back to the chart, right? If we go back to this chart and you guys can see, like these were all areas that you could have potentially entered. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you would have gotten stopped out, what are we going to do? We're going to take a step back and then see where else we can get in. So that's going to be with you, like with how you feel like about your profit. But anytime that you guys would have trailed your stop loss, like you see from here, if you guys would have entered here and then here, and then you started seeing pull back, all you had to do, because you know this, like if you guys start seeing that pullback, all you have to do, instead of trailing your stop loss, you could mark it up, right? So you can mark it up low to high, and then you can mark up your white hot zone and your sweet spot. What you can do is just move your stop loss to the 50% or the 618, right? Let's say to the 618, just in case it doesn't and it activates it and comes back up. You're still going to be in profit from where you entered it, but at least you trailed it enough to allow this little pullback to happen, to then keep going up. So then it happened again. So guess what? Low to high, right? So then you mark it up. You have your white hot zone here. So now you move your stop loss to, let's say again, to the 618. You give it room for it to go. And if you do that, so you got to get okay with taking profit no matter what the size is, because I promise you your profit is going to keep adding up. And if you would have gotten stopped out, like let's say you guys would have gotten stopped out here. How many pips did you catch? Okay. Let's say you guys would have gotten in here to, let's say you guys would have gotten stopped out right there. So that's 700 pips, okay? So you caught 700 pips, but then you're like, okay, well, it touched over here, the 382, I'm gonna put a buy stop here, right? Boom, you're in another trade, okay? And somebody add this up. So 700 plus, let's say you guys would have gotten again right here. Then you guys would have gotten stopped out. So another 740 pips, okay? So then you're like, okay, well, this is an area here. So then you guys could have gone in again. Let's see. You guys would have gotten, let's say you guys would have gotten on the buy stop on the way up again, okay? And you guys would have gotten stopped out here when you had that sell. So that's 1,400 pips. So 700, 700, 1,400, okay? And then you guys would have taken this buy here. And let's say you guys would have taken it just from the 50, the top, and then you guys would have gotten stopped out here at this little pullback, okay? So that's another 1,200. So 700 plus 700 plus 1,400 plus 1,200, okay? And then let's say that you guys would have gotten in again right there. And then you guys would have gotten stopped out here. So that's another 450 pips. So 700, 700, 1,400, 1,200, 400, right? Do you see? Like you probably would have caught more pips doing, I mean, yes, you could have, if you guys would have kept that open. And you see, this is what people don't understand. You could have kept this trade open here, from here to here, and it would have been 3,000 pips. But you would have still gotten close to that amount of pips because you would have caught 700 plus 700 plus 1,400 plus 1,200 plus 400. Do you see what I'm saying? So people are too caught up in getting stopped out early, and they need to be thinking about, I got stopped out, I secured the bag, it's in my account, I have it, it's there, I'm going to jump back in, as opposed to being in a trade where it could still potentially just be a quick swing down and take everybody out. Do you see what I'm saying? So when you guys are closing out your trades, that's when you guys are traders. That's when you guys can be like, holy shit, I'm a trader. I made this money. You know what I mean? Like secure it, take it out, feel it, go buy yourself some shoes, some whatever. Take me to dinner. I'm always open for food. But you guys need to do that. You guys need to close it out. And you guys need to change your mindset. Change your mindset, because profit is profit and it adds up. If you guys would have added that 7, 7, 14, 12, 4, and then kept going, like think about it, you guys, okay? So you guys are catching this, like let's say like you guys would have gotten stopped out here. And then let's say you would have taken this sell. This was about 500 pips, and then taken this buy. You know what I'm saying? And then again, from here to here, and then from here to here. You know what I'm saying? So you're technically not missing out on the big swing up because you're catching all of them. You're coming in on the pullback. So if you guys got stopped out, you're getting right back in where you got stopped out. Do you see what I'm saying? So, and I know that this is beautiful, right? Like the entries, like to get in. But even if you're just catching the small, like from here down, right? And you would have gotten stopped out because it started going up again, but then you had another time to get in here, boom. And it's not even because you wanted to get the highest to the lowest. It was just that you caught it, you moved your stop loss, so you secured this bag. Let's look at this. Let's use this as an example. So here, if you guys would have taken this trade from the bottom here, And let's say you guys would have gotten stopped out right here because you would have put your stop loss or whatever. So that's 1,340 pips, okay? 1,340, right? That's the lowest that it went, right? Well, besides it coming back up here and then going back down here, but this is the lowest that it went right here in this little time frame, right? But then you got another sell here, right? So you caught, what was it, 1,340? And let's say that you only caught the 50 here to here, plus 300. So that's 1,340. So that's what? 1,640, right? But then you caught this buy, right? And then this buy, let's say right here, that you guys got stopped out right here because this is when this candle started going to the downside. So that's another 1,600 points. So that's 1,640 plus 600. Do you see what I'm saying, you guys? Like, if you guys get in the habit of just closing your trades, trail your stop loss, take the money, there's always a chance to get in. Trail your stop loss, take the money, there's always a chance to re-enter. Always, always, always. If you guys can think that and drill that into your head, as a matter of fact, get a notebook and write it down over and over until the page is full. Close, trail your stop loss, take the profit, there's always a chance to re-enter. Trail your stop loss, take the profit, there's always a chance to re-enter. Over and over and over again until you get it into your heads. Because I promise you, that is what's gonna save your ass. That is what's gonna make you the most profitable trader above anyone else. Picasso can catch the huge swings up, right? He catches beautiful trades, and I'm so like in love with the way that he trades, right? But because I trail my stop loss, how many times do you guys enter Picasso's trade and it goes back the opposite way and you get stopped out? It hits your stop loss. How many times has that happened? But because I trail my stop loss, I get stopped out in profit and I wait for it to go. And then I put buy stops and get activated on the way up. So I minimize my losses and I maximize my profits. Why? Because I already took profits. I walked away with 200, 300 pips in profit before it had its little pullback. And then not only do I have that, but I also got in at a lower entry. And now I'm more in pips in profit than the average person who just left, his entries. Do you guys see? Like, that's what you guys need to understand, that it's not about where you entered. It's about where you put your stop loss and how you take your money. So does that answer your question? Are you there, Zach? Did it answer your question?
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. I'm so sorry. I started putting the Fibonacci on all the different dailies, hours, and everything, and I'm putting it all together right now.
So Jeanette, you say that okay, good, Zach, thank you. And yeah, I bet you all of you guys are going to be on the charts now, just checking out. And if you guys want to test your theory, that's what you have a demo for. Try it on your demo. I promise you'll get all excited. And then you're going to be like, okay, live account. All right, let's see. Jeanette, I seem to have an issue with my stop loss. My trade starts going into profit and then I get closed out. Do you get closed out because it reverses? Or do you because that's the only reason why I would think it would get closed out. So are you just getting closed out because it just goes the opposite direction, or why? If you can tell me. And I'm glad I talked about the white hot zone. Didn't think about a buy stop on the 236. Thank you. Those are the best professional trade closers. My goal. Yes, sir. So you get stopped out because it reverses. Okay. So the minute that first of all, when are you entering? Are you entering Picasso's trades? Whose trades are you entering? Are they your own trades? Second of all, if they are Picasso's trades, then what you need to do is, first of all, not get in on Picasso's trade at the minute that he calls them, because I promise you, they always have a little, it's like very rare, like a small percentage of his trades, unless he calls it on momentum, like the trades are always going to pull back. Okay. So if it's Picasso's trades, you do need to look at it because he's not technically calling out a market analysis. I mean, a market execution. What he's calling out is saying that there is a potential like market execution in this zone. And then he'll tell you like, if this candle passes, blah, 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 closes this area. So he's not technically telling you guys market execute right now. And I think that is where a lot of people get mixed up, because they think that, oh my God, I got a swipe coin alert. If I don't get in now, I'm going to miss out on the 10,000 pips that Picasso calls out. That is seriously how our mind works. And so that's not the case. The case is that he tells you that there might be, enough momentum to push it to the upside in this area, but you have to look out for it. So If it's Picasso's trades that you're getting closed out on, that's probably it. But what Picasso's trades do have is that they do go up a little bit and then they come back down. This is where I tell you that you have to move your stop loss. Now, I went over the spread in my last training. A lot of us have KOT. KOT has about a 72, 73 pip spread. Okay, so if you guys are like, for you guys to break even, it needs to be 70, put it just to be safe, 75 pips on top of where you entered it. That's break even for you. Okay. So for those of you guys that want to break even on a trade, so like if they tell you, if you ever hear Picasso say, trade is well over 300 pips in profit, move your stop loss to break even. That if you entered at 43,000, your break even is 43,075. That is where you will be zeroed out. Like that is where you will not lose any money and you will not get any money. You are literally going to walk away just like how you went in it. Okay. So keep in mind that there is a spread on your broker. Okay. Now, that could be one of the reasons why you're getting stopped out, because you might be putting it in break even and you're 75 pips negative, basically. Okay. So you guys want to account for your spread. That is super, super important for you guys to account for your spread. Now, Jeanette, I would just really look at the trades. And then like, if you ever have an analysis, text it to me, show it to me, and I'll tell you like, hey, okay, yes, you marked it up right. Like you need to do this, whatever. You know that we still get together at the corner bakery. Last week we got together. We only had one person that showed up, but it was fun. We sat there and we traded. So that was really cool. We kind of did a one-on-one with him, but we're always available to trade with you guys. So Jeanette, if you want some more one-on-one, yeah, see, there he is. But if you want a one-on-one, just like hit me up at the corner bakery and I'll be more than happy to look at your charts and physically see what it is that you're doing. Okay. So any other questions, you guys? What else?
When will you go to the corner bakery?
I think we're gonna go. Charlie, are we going tomorrow?
I'm not sure if I can tomorrow. That's why I was trying to go today.
You want to go Wednesday?
Yeah, we could do Wednesday. If we do tomorrow, what time would it be?
Whatever time you tell me.
No, let's do for Wednesday because I gotta go pick up my car tomorrow.
Okay, so that says Wednesday also. Isaiah, Wednesday.
Okay.
We can do Wednesday at 3:30, so then that way it gives you time to get out of work.
Okay, yes, that's good.
So Wednesday 3:30, Charlie, or is that too late for you?
3:30 is a little late for me.
Well, I'll be there early, so you can still show up.
All right, for sure.
All right. All right. So Jeanette, Erica, Seth, whoever else is in El Paso, you guys, we're gonna be at the corner bakery. We're gonna be at my office on Wednesday. I'll probably get there around 1, you guys, so we can just like I can go over everything with you guys. And for those of you guys that are out of town, if you guys want to set up like a one-on-one Zoom and show me your charts, like where instead of me sharing my chart with you, you share yours and you show me, and I can tell you, I could definitely do that as well. So like I said, there's only 14, 15 people. I know Chris had to jump off, but guys, this is open to everybody in our group. You know, and I only open this up to one person who's not on our team, you know, and again, I love him. Like he's somebody that I'll work with no matter what. So like, this is like, I want you guys to learn this. Like, I'm willing to hold your hand, answer your questions, and you know, see what it is that you're doing wrong and see where I can help you. So take advantage of it, you guys. Like, this academy has the information that you want. Like, I really want you guys to keep your academy so you guys can keep referencing back to the Go Lives, the Scalper, you know, like everything that we have. But I also want you guys to understand it and learn it. And I want to be able to show you guys so that way you guys can be profitable. I'd rather have like you 14, like, well, 13 minus me people, you know, one day tell me like, yeah, I became a 6-figure trader because, you know, crypto, I stuck with it or whatever, than anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's going to make me happy because I know that it's going to impact your guys' family's lives. So we're going to do this again. Probably next week. So that way we can have a chance to see, you know, what happens. If you guys do mark up your charts and want to send them to me, send them to me. Send them to me and then like show me like, hey, yeah, did I do this right? Like, what do you think? You know, I don't mind doing that with you guys, but when I have like 40 other people doing the same thing to me, I'm like, ah, but you guys, I'm okay with, you know what I'm saying? Like like I said, you guys, I want you guys to learn it. Okay. So does anybody have any other questions before we finish?
I do. So it was a little bit tough for me to follow tonight because I haven't gone over any of these fibs yet. I wasn't even sure like what it was, but I was just following because like future, if we revisit it, I'll kind of have an understanding of what was going on.
Right.
My question is about the funding the KOT account. I had it open. And then when you first go to fund, it says select wallet, and it says like US dollars or Bitcoin. I didn't know like what to pick at first. Like, do you pick just US dollars or Bitcoin? What am I gonna be funding? Might be a silly question, but I'm not sure. So
Okay,
I didn't want to
so
put anything in there.
After the Zoom, I'll go ahead and I'll send you the spreadsheet, where it tells you exactly, it's like a screenshot where it tells you how to fund your account, like which ones to choose. So, and I'll walk you through it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah. Okay, that'll be perfect then.
Okay. And yeah, I kind of figured like we have like 4 new people, you guys. So the 4 new people that we have, I knew that it was going to be something that may not have been like, well, I still don't know what they're talking about, but at least you get to see it. And that's all I wanted, is for you guys to see the simplicity, because the last thing that I would want is for you guys to get scared. Like, oh my God, it's too complicated. Cause it really isn't. It really isn't. I'm telling you, like, sometimes I'm just like, hey, like, just throw it from here to here. This is a buy area. And then people like, is that it? I'm like, yeah. And they like expect me to be like, okay, well, the sun is setting in this side, and you know, because of this and this and that, and then we're gonna wait for this. And no, it's not that complicated. It's really simple. And if you guys get it, I promise you, you're gonna be just like, do, like just catching it like nothing. It's gonna be fun. Trading is fun. I love it. So with that being said, you guys, anybody else have anything to say? Finally, Charlie turns on his camera at the end. Appreciate you too, you guys. That's my goal, taking you to a fancy dinner when it happens. Hell yeah, I'm always for that. Food. All right, you guys. Well, that's it. If you guys do have any questions, message me, call me. You know that I'm here for you. For those of you in El Paso, we'll see you guys on Wednesday. All right. Peace, you guys. We'll see you.
Bye. Thank you.